Ever since I took this camera out in my How to Take Your Breast Nudes 3, I just like want to shoot the summer on a camcorder. It's just another device to have to take around, but like, wouldn't it be fun? Let's carry around 3 cameras instead of 2. God damn it. Hi. I feel like it hasn't felt like summer until this week. Now it's like, oh, it's fucking summer and I hate it. Is this footage gonna be windy? It feels like summer's kind of in full swing now though. I booked 2 tattoos for July. I'm feeling very optimistic and kind of romantic about summer. I feel like I'm like in like an early 2000s movie and they're like, it was the best summer ever. Except nothing is planned. I don't have anything planned, which kind of adds to the excitement because it's like anything could happen. We could do absolutely anything. I have nothing planned for the summer. What are we gonna do? There's something very romantic about not having any clue what you're doing. Like knowing what you're doing, but not really knowing where it's going, if that makes sense. That's how I feel like I'm existing. I feel like every day I'm secure, I'm happy, I know who I am and what I want and what I'm doing with my life. I just don't know like how it's gonna play out on a day-to-day level. And there's something just so fun and exciting and romantic about living like that right now. Here's the thing though, when you like romanticize your life and you feel like everything is super exciting and fun, it's like even the little things feel special and cinematic in some way. It really doesn't matter what the fuck you're doing with your life actually. Like I could sit at home every day, do this shit and still feel like I live the most exciting, fulfilling life ever, because it's not really about what you're doing or where you are. It's about how you make that moment special. See, this is like my like film brain and my storyteller brain. I feel like it makes my life more exciting because I sort of view everything through the lens of like a camera, through the lens of the final edit. What's it gonna look like? How can you make the everyday meaningful? How can you make the mundane feel like it has some weight to it, that it has depth? I don't know. So anyways, full circle moment here, baby. It doesn't really matter what we're gonna do this summer, but we're gonna romanticize the shit out of it and have a fun time doing it. All right, I'm gonna go to work, bye. So I got sent a women's pleasure serum that I haven't tried yet, but I'm really interested and honestly have some free time this afternoon. Basically, it's like a CBD serum that you apply to and around your clitoris like 20-30 minutes before you want to either have sex or masturbate. Apparently it's just supposed to like really intensify, heighten your orgasm. I want to figure out if that's true. So just to explain what this is a little better, these samples were sent over to me by Vela Bioscience. Let me read a little bit from their website on what exactly this product is/does. Vela Women's Pleasure Serum is a pre-play topical serum for arousal and orgasm. It relaxes your vaginal and clitoral smooth muscle tissue, promoting more frequent, more intense, and more satisfying orgasms. I guess the key factor here is that since the CBD is being delivered directly to the place you want it to be delivered in, it has a more powerful impact than if you were to just have like the full body impact of CBD. Interesting. I have no idea. I've never tried anything like this. So I applied the CBD serum like 20 minutes before I wanted to. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know how well it worked. It's hard to know if I was just super horny or if the serum assisted in that in some way. Honestly, I've got to try more than once because I applied it like 20 minutes before I wanted to masturbate, but the thing is that I wanted to masturbate. So I was already like in the headspace, we were getting there, we were moving along. I was there, you know, I was on level 10, but I also like am sometimes just on a level 10 as is. So I don't know if that was the serum's doing or if it was just like it was gonna happen anyways. I would be more interested in using a product like this with a partner because the thing is that it's like hard to get it wrong with a vibrator, you know? Like it's one of those things that's like it's always good, so it's hard to tell if it's better because it's always good, but sex with a partner is not always good. And that's no shade to anybody that I've had sex with in the past. I mean, maybe shade to some of you, but for most people, it's just like, your brain isn't my brain. You know, we can communicate all we want and get better in time, but not every time is gonna be a great time. I would be interested to hear from people who maybe have a hard time getting aroused or don't have as much success in masturbating as I do. Not to like totally show off my credentials here. I feel like maybe it's hard for me to test these things because I'm like, yeah, it's great. When is it not great when I'm by myself? Just fucking, I'm a star, baby. I've never been invited to an influencer event before. Tonight was the first time I've ever gone to one, and they gave us this little goodie bag at the end. They gave me a candy bra. And it's super cute, super fun. Is someone else supposed to eat it off me? Am I supposed to eat it off myself? I don't know. I'm not opposed to either option. All I know is that it covers a nipple. Not even. Not areola. We maybe get just a tiny bit of the nip covered, which is maybe the point. Either way, I love every fucking second of it. I just got this sick new piece of art for my room. I'm stoked on this. I bought it to cover up these plugs on the wall. But I feel like maybe I want to get like another one to match. So it'll be like 1, 2, or maybe that's too much. Like my goal was to not over decorate this room so I can keep it pretty plain since it's just a bedroom. But this is just like so sick. You know, like maybe I get another one to go right there, or is that too much? Like I really just got that to cover up the plugs. I got my hair cut like 2 weeks ago at this point. I feel like I'm still figuring out like how to let it exist. I know that this is probably like super long for some people, but this is super short for me and it's like throwing me off. So I'm honestly just gonna drink a mimosa and like tailor clothes, or try to. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm gonna do it. And that's kind of been my motto lately. Before I do anything else, I wanted to sit and answer one of my most asked questions in my comments. I get 2 questions pretty frequently and they're both intertwined. It's either people asking me to make a podcast or people asking me to bring back my podcast. So for those of you that don't know, I do have a podcast. It's called Girl Under You. It's linked in the description of every single one of my videos on Spotify. It's also available on Apple, and there's a video version on a YouTube channel that is linked on my page as well. So like it exists, it has always existed, you just didn't have your good eye open, as my fucking grandma would say. That being said, it was a pretty short-lived podcast, I guess. Not because I didn't want to. Let me talk about it. Why did I stop making my podcast, and is it gonna come back? So I started my podcast. I started filming the first episode for my podcast January 2020. So when I first had the idea for Girl Under You, I didn't anticipate a pandemic happening. The pandemic definitely threw a wrench in a lot of my plans because I never wanted to have a solo podcast. Because to me, my YouTube is like my solo podcast, you know? Like I'm uploading like 20 to 30 minute videos. I don't need another medium where I can just sit and talk to myself. I wanted my podcast to be conversations about dating, sex, relationships, friendships, with friends, with people I admire, with people who are experts in those kinds of things. Like I wanted it to be conversations. Obviously, because of the pandemic, that sort of threw a wrench in things. And so my first drop of the podcast was the episodes that I had pre-recorded in January and February, plus an episode with my sister and an episode that I filmed over Zoom with my best friend. After recording the episode over Zoom with my best friend Ashley, I decided that I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to record the episodes like this. I don't want to do them over Zoom. I want to be able to record this podcast in person with people. Because I couldn't proceed with the podcast the way I wanted to, I sort of put it on hold that summer. And in the fall 2020, I picked it back up and I did 2 episodes by myself. Now, the reason I did those 2 episodes by myself is because for a second I was like, oh, well, I just want to start the podcast up again. I just want to do it again. Like, everyone's asking for it, and I like doing it. I like sitting and having these longer conversations because it does offer you like a different dynamic than you would get in my YouTube videos. I think that there's topics that are better suited for a podcast than for a YouTube video. Really only had 2 topics that I wanted to talk about by myself, which was talking about being the other woman unknowingly and talking about friendship breakups. So I did those 2 episodes by myself, and then I was kind of like, I don't know what the fuck else to do by myself. I don't have any other topics that I want to do alone that I wouldn't want to do on my YouTube channel. You know, like all of my ideas I was saving to do with friends, or if it was a topic that I wanted to talk about by myself, then I was just gonna turn it into a fucking YouTube video because it made more sense. It didn't make sense for me to be like pouring ideas into the podcast when my YouTube channel was really the thing that I was wanting to grow. So anyways, fast forward to now, still very much wanting to bring back the podcast. Now I'm seeing more of my friends, obviously can do some recording in person with people. But now, because in the last few months my YouTube channel has turned into a beast of its own, I really don't have time to do the podcast. So, you know, I can't do everything. I'm one person. I can't possibly work a full-time 9-to-5 job, also put in full-time hours to put out 1, sometimes 2 videos a week on my YouTube channel and run a podcast full-time, all while not having management. I reach out and do all my brand partnerships and negotiating myself and having like a social life. You know, like I can't do everything. I can't. Something's gotta give, and right now what's giving is the podcast. To answer your question, that is why I stopped making podcast episodes. Do I want to bring the podcast back? Absolutely, yes. I'm working on figuring out what needs to happen in order for that to be something that I can do. But ultimately, it's probably gonna be a while before the podcast comes back, just because I don't have the time to do it right now. For those of you that haven't seen the podcast yet, it's linked down below. There are 7 episodes, so go enjoy those 7 episodes because it's probably the most you're gonna get for a while. Okay, anyways, cheers. This is like my 3rd or 4th mimosa. I have a pair of pants that's way too fucking long, so I'm going to try to shorten them. Not sure how, gonna look up a YouTube tutorial. Let's go. So these are the pants in question. Super cute, they're from Kai Collective, but they're way too fucking long. Just absolutely trailing on the floor. It's very possible that I should have done this before I started drinking. I have no idea how to do this. I'm assuming I'm just gonna like cut some fabric off the bottom and then like fold it and like sew the bottom. But when I put them on, it seemed like it was like about to where this like purple meets the orange right here. It's a lot of space, so I'll cut a little bit less than that. Dude, I don't fucking know. I could be ruining these. But like, there's no solution here. It's I either cut them or I never wear the pants. So, but do you think I have to sew them or can I just cut them? Because they're like flare pants, right? So no one's even gonna see the bottom. Was this way easier than I thought it was gonna be? Dude, I'll be honest. Killed it, smashed it, knocked it right out of the park. I would have done this a week ago if I knew I just needed to take scissors to the bottom. I guess I probably should have known that, because they are just like flare. Like if you look closely, you can see they look fucked up, but like who's looking closely? Not me, right? They're just like flowing in the wind. Who's even gonna notice that? I'm not gonna notice that, and I actually don't care if anybody else notices it. Anyways, pants of the fucking century. These babies are fucking comfy as hell. Time for some fresh air, baby. It's a good day to have a good day, baby. I love you guys. See you soon.